Hey everyone, so many of you have been asking me for a garden tour, and I thought, why not show you some of the garden today? Now, I tend to plant stuff absolutely everywhere, so I can't show you all the gardens in one go. But I thought if we make this a series, it could be quite a good thing, so I hope you enjoy. So we're starting today with these two here. This is a mulberry and an Indian guava. And the Indian guava was actually a little bit of a disappointment. The fruits are incredibly fibrous and they aren't as sweet as I hoped they'd be. So we're hoping that as it matures, it might become a little bit sweeter. You can see it's in full fruit at the moment. And they're just not as nice as I hoped they'd be. It is a great fruiter though, so there you go. Moving on to this side over here, so I've planted, it's kind of like a mini food forest around what we call the stink bog. I don't know why the previous owners had this. It's almost like a mini dam, but it has no flow, and so this water tends to be completely stagnant, and it tends to stink a little bit when you haven't had any rain for a while. So I decided to plant a mini food forest around the stink bog. One, because it can help suck up the water, and two, because it seemed as good a place as any to start a garden. So I absolutely love mulberries, so we have another mulberry here. I actually have probably 10 mulberries around the place, so you'll probably come across quite a few of these. Behind the mulberry, you'll see two coconuts. I'm not sure if I've told you before, but we're actually in a tropical climate here. And so a lot of these plants you see are suited to the subtropics, to the tropics, unless you can create a microclimate, and you'll be able to grow a lot of these plants in a little hot pocket, like near a hot brick wall or something like that. This tree here is an Australian native called a tuckaroo. He is mainly there because the birds love him, and he's going to attract a lot of birds, which I love birds. And they're fantastic for, you know, insect control and biodiversity, and they're just the best thing. And I love how they spread seeds all over the place as well. This plant here, he is incredibly spiky, but as you can see some birds' nests in there. And because he's spiky, he provides this great habitat for the birds, because a lot of predators, they won't go into the spiky foliage. So that's why he's here. Moving on, there we go. Here's another mulberry. Yeah, it seems to be one tree, one mulberry, one tree, one mulberry. But anyway, here is what I call a sabernut, also known as a water chestnut. This is one of my all-time favorite trees. I love this guy. It's got such a different growing habit. Look at this big lot of foliage down here. Then we kind of have nothing. And then as you get up here, he has another big bunch of foliage. And I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but he grows. Let's have a look up here. He's actually fruiting at the moment. See up there? He's got these two big nuts or seed pods. And as he ripens, you can get these delicious nuts in there. They're absolutely beautiful. They taste kind of like almonds, but better. And so you can eat them raw, you can roast them, you can use them any which way you'd use, you know, nuts in general. So they're absolutely beautiful. And what I love about him as well is he tends to self-seed all by himself. So look at that there. How cool is that? I love that. And so that's just from fallen nuts. I did not plant them. Here's another one. And here's another one, and there's another one. So obviously I don't want all these sabernuts right here, but I can dig them up and plant them somewhere else, which is going to be great. In here, we have a plant that's not entirely super ultra happy. It's a fig, and the poor fig is being outcompeted by the sabernut and the Fraser Island apple to the left. I do think he's coming good. He's got some green tips on him. So this bush here is a Fraser Island vine, another Australian native. Birds love this one. Behind there is something I am incredibly excited about. It's called a vetiver grass. And really the only purpose for me is that I'm going to propagate this guy, so you'll be able to dig him up. So I'll be able to dig him up, cut him in pieces, replant it, and he'll grow. And I want to use him as mulch. So we used to get sugarcane mulch all the time, and the price for sugarcane mulch just went up and up and up. And in the end, I decided that when you have gardens the size of mine, it's just too expensive to get in truckloads of sugarcane mulch. And so I started looking at different plants that I can use to mulch my plants for free. So first I started by just using things like palm leaves, palm fronds, anything that I prune. You see here I pruned the macadamia nut. It's all mulch in the end. You see there is another big pile. But yeah, I'm going to use the vetiver grass as mulch. And yeah, it's going to be great. Here's a plum. The plum's deciduous here. It's actually a miracle he grows here at all, to be honest, because they prefer cooler temperatures, but this is a low chill variety. He's called Gulf Gold. So we'll see how he goes. Last year we had some amazing fruits from him. So let's hope he does the same this year. Behind you can see loads of self-seeded mangoes. We have amazing big 100-year-old mango trees on this property, and I love them, by the way. Little plum. This one is Gulf Beauty, so they're actually a great pollinator for the Gulf Gold. So I bought these later, that's why they're a bit smaller. This one's quite happy though. Here's another Gulf Gold. So I've planted them all together so they can all pollinate each other. They don't actually need pollinators, but you can definitely increase pollination rates by planting great, companion varieties close to each other like that. So here we have a little achacha. This is a very, very tropical tree, and I have to say I am a little bit disappointed with its growth rate. It has been a good 2 or 3 years since I've planted this guy. I've planted him from seed, and so you do expect a slightly slower rate. And he has been a strong plant, but it is taking a really long time. So fingers crossed he's going to kick on soon. Next to him is another vetiver grass. So like I said, compost mulch plant. This is an Australian native, beautiful grevillea. I love the flowers on these guys, and these trees actually get about 30 meters tall, so he goes right up there. He's nowhere near 30 meters yet, but he will be. Growing in the grevillea is a self-seeded passion fruit, so no idea where he came from, but I mean, who gets rid of free fruit? You wouldn't. And the cool thing is that I'm also feeding wildlife. Not myself right now, but I am feeding wildlife. As you can see, shells of the passion fruit are everywhere. Here we have another little mango. I did not plant him. Here's a pile of compost. That's probably when I couldn't be bothered walking all the way to the other compost heap, and I chucked it here. Not that the garden will mind you. I'm at something like 9 minutes right now, so it's time to turn back, and I will cut it into different series so you can see the rest of the garden another day. This here is one of my favorite fruit trees. It's called a Jaboticaba, and it's incredibly unusual. And check out the seeds. When have you ever seen something like this? The fruits grow straight on this tree's branches, on the trunks. Like, how cool is that? And it goes right down the trunk. And the fruits are actually surprisingly sweet, so yummy. The only issue I've found is the big seed in the middle. So we're moving on to the feijoa over here. This is a bit of a funny little island I've put in the middle. My husband's very sad about that because his shed's right there, and it takes away from the space for the cars and tractors and whatnot. But this was here before he built the shed, so that's my claim. There's a feijoa, which I love. I haven't had any fruits of this little guy yet, but we will. Ice cream bean hiding in the middle there. It's not incredibly happy at the moment. I think it's just too crowded for him. But as you can see, he's grown some new leaves there. Little dwarf date palm, providing a bit of shade for, hey, another mulberry. Imagine that. You'll see there's some of the leaves of the ice cream bean. So he's actually happier than I thought, which is good. One of my plums, that's another Gulf Gold, and then another Gulf Beauty right next to it. Then we have a random pineapple. I'll have to show you this ridiculously easy way of propagating pineapples. That's why you'll find random pineapples everywhere in my garden, because it's so easy, but I'll have to share that with you another day. And then just the final thing I wanted to share with you is one of the coolest plants I found in the last 3 years. I get very excited when I find a plant that grows really well where we live. So this here is the pinto peanut. Now, if you're in a warm climate, especially warm, humid, you know, really wet summers, this guy is what you want for your cover crop. It's amazing. It's a legume, so it's going to fix your nitrogen, help your soil, break up clay, keep your weeds down. Like, this guy is amazing. They actually use it in commercial orchards to keep the weeds down and keep the fruit trees happy. And this is my trial spot. So I've actually been doing cuttings from him as well and trying him in different spots. Because the awesome thing with this guy is that, I don't know if you can see that or not, but he will grab hold of the soil and make roots wherever he touches the ground. And so you can cut this. I mean, say I like to take quite big cuttings because, as you can see, I've got a really big carpet, but you could take a cutting right there, either put him in some water for a while or pot him up, or even just put him straight in the garden. In a minute I'll see if any of the cuttings have made it or not. But this guy, seriously guys, if you want a cover crop and you're struggling with weeds, or you've got heavy soil, sandy soil, get this guy growing in between your plants. And he's just amazing. I love him. So that's it for the garden tour today. I think that's quite long. But if you like this, let me know and I'll take you around the other gardens. As it goes like this, we can probably do 5 or 6 tours because I love plants. So I'll see you next time. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to subscribe and like this video and leave me a comment below. Thanks so much. Bye guys.